Hi everyone, welcome back to the garden. Today we're doing some picking, so we're just going to show you what we're up to.
Yeah. A lot to pick today.
Yeah.
And feed the little ones.
Yeah, the pigs, they're just loving this. Been pulling down the cucumbers and the cucumber vines and feeding that to them, and cherry tomatoes out of the garden, but enjoy this music and us harvesting. I mentioned on Instagram, kind of funny, but someone asked me last week if I enjoy this time of year when the garden is coming to an end and there's nothing more to harvest and it's just kind of cleaning up. And I really tried not to laugh, but I laughed because I would say our garden is so far from the end. The end of the garden is the busiest time in the garden. So here in Minnesota, we are in full-blown harvest season. We are harvesting so many tomatoes. We have put up enough pizza sauce, tomato sauce for the year. We've put up enough, I'd say, salsa for the year. Ideally, we're hoping to get one more round, and the tomatoes we're picking today are going to be for tomato soup, and then after we get some soup on the shelf, we're going to be getting tomatoes for just canned whole tomatoes, for chili, and things like that. This week we got our first picking off of our second round of green beans, and we canned 3 quarts of green beans off of them. They were a little bit on the smaller side, but we were anxious to get some more green beans, and I'm looking at these beans and they are ready to get picked already. Since I'm going to be making tomato soup with Matt later today, I don't know if I'm going to have time for beans, so I don't think I'm going to pick them, but I better be out here tomorrow because it's going to be more canned green beans. We have a rooster who keeps flying in the garden, so Matt was finally able to catch him and get his wings clipped, and he is back over with the chickens, so hopefully we don't have to deal with that. Our broccoli, it is rocking. I can pick some more little side shoots here and there and get those blanched and in the freezer. Our cauliflower never did get heads this year, so I'm not expecting it to at this point. Instead, we've just been feeding the leaves to the pigs. It's made it a little bit easier to get around this corner that was getting kind of tight anyways. The kids came through and they cut down some of the sunflowers that were falling over and fed them to the chickens and the pigs, and they accidentally trampled one of our hot peppers. One of you mentioned that you thought these red peppers we were asking about might be peppercini, and that I just let them go too far. But I thought that was really interesting because they went from green to red. There really wasn't any yellow stage. And I still have to pick our hot peppers. Our bells are still doing wonderful. We will probably come in here at the end of the season and kind of harvest what there is. We're gonna move one of the plants up to the greenhouse. That'll be really nice. We're seeing flowers on the 3rd run of beans over here. So hopefully we do get some beans, or at least beans we can save for seed off of these. And our celery, I haven't really harvested any other than if I wanted some to like cook with right now. I haven't been harvesting much off of those. So we'll leave them for now. And again, that's going to be one of those things like the bell peppers where I'll probably come in at the end of the season and just chop it off and chop it all up and freeze it. I don't think I showed you guys, but we had planted kind of just those extra cucumber plants because originally we had started extra cucumber plants with the worry of that beetle, that if we had other plants ready to plant, that would be good. And we ended up throwing them along the fence here, just kind of towards the outside of the garden. I see a cucumber right here, actually. That looks pretty decent. But these ones didn't have the beetles as bad, just in a new spot. And I have to show you because I didn't find it until it was really big and already starting to turn yellow. So I've been saving it. But look at this yellow cucumber hiding in here. See this? So it's still not all the way yellow, but it is like the perfect specimen of the Parisian pickling cucumbers. So I'm hoping to just kind of let it turn yellow here and then save it for seed. Our leeks here, they just look so happy. We have been eating them. I made potato leek soup for the first time. I harvested 6 decent sized leeks. I just took the ones where they looked a little bit sadder, and 6 leeks and about 3 pounds of peeled potatoes. I sauteed the leeks and then I put the potatoes in and just a ton of chicken bone broth and cooked it, added some spices, and it was delicious. And then I ended up taking the leek tops and using some leftover bones from chicken from another night and making some broth. I added some carrot tops from back when we harvested our carrots and some seasonings, and that broth was so good. So I'm going to do that again with the tops of these, regardless of what I do with actual leeks. We have harvested most of our onions and shallots, but there's a few we're still leaving in here with the green onion, with the green tops. Charlie, get out of there. And then this bed just was overtaken with purslane, which is actually edible. So we have been harvesting this a little bit and cutting it up and just kind of sauteing it, throwing it in our food. And then I also dehydrated some purslane because it works as a good thickener or just kind of like a green powder, adding some nutrients and things to our food. So coneflowers come up kind of in the wild here. Every so often we'll see them. But this coneflower is one that Matt started, and I believe it was a couple years ago because they take a few years to actually blossom. So it's really awesome to see it finally blossoming. All these other flowers are starting on it. I don't know if they'll be able to get a good season in. I believe they will still be open a little bit in the cold, so hopefully, but that's been really exciting to see. I think we planted a whole tray full of coneflowers, and that's the only one that really made it through those 2 years. I could really use some help from you guys on what to do with my elderberry. I got 2 elderberry cuttings that I put in pots this spring, and they did grow, and I just never got a chance to get them planted. Now I really want to grow elderberry, and both pots are sitting here, and one that's still here, the roots have gone through the pot and they're in the dirt. So I'm tempted to just kind of dig it up, get it out of the pot, and plant it this fall, but I don't know if that's a great idea. I could also up pot it and put it in the greenhouse for the winter, or bring it in the house even though we don't have great light. I'm just really not sure. The other pot that I dug the roots up and I just moved it looks so sad in comparison to this one. So I have not touched this pot because I want to have elderberry and I just didn't get around to it this spring. So if you guys have any tips or thoughts on what we should do with these, will you leave a comment down below because I need some help.